So the album is basically one big 46-minute and 27-second mix compiled of 34 individual tracks. The album is intended to be enjoyed start to finish, just like a DJ set. It definitely is a journey from start to finish, so listening track by track or skipping around through the album breaks the immersion of the flow between each song. So it seems like Skrillex has kind of gravitated towards a very reoccurring formula throughout his later discography. That formula is also very prominent in many of the tracks on this album. It's that festival trap, generic main stage, modern hip-hop beat type blueprint. The type of shit that you'd hear on main stage at Ultra Music Fest or EDC. Some examples of this formula being Bitch, be on. And some other examples on the new album. There's also a very reoccurring use of this particular clicky snare that I hear lots and lots of other artists using as well. Most every time I hear that snare used in a track, it's always accompanied by a low punchy kick and a deep minimalistic rumbly bass line. It's perfectly displayed on his huge hit Rumble with Fredigan and Flowdan.
Run for them life. When I step into the jungle, say they wanna group up. They better move up, never gonna win a Royal Rumble.
And Squishy Clip on the new album. For my observation, it seems like Rumble was one of the first huge tracks to showcase that blueprint, and it has just been unimpressively recycled many times since that track blew up. I was very pleased to hear a small comeback of some of that classic bro step sound Skrillex helped pioneer 15 years ago. That formula is showcased in about 4 out of the 34 tracks on the album, starting with the second track on the album, Spitfire, being just a perfectly generic bare bones example of the bro step formula. Every aspect of this track just sounds like a Virtual Riot Serum preset, which is basically what most modern dubstep sounds like. One of the other tracks using this formula on the album is the Morja Kaiju VIP. This was probably the most standout track on the album for me. I really enjoyed the kind of reverse sweep effect used on the main synth pattern to help create the groove in the track. We also get a return of the old dubstep / bro step sound with the tracks San Diego VIP and Voltage. Both these tracks were very nostalgic and brought me back to the days of looking these songs up on Grooveshark.com in like 2012. Not much else particularly stood out to me on this album. Everything else just felt like experimental modern EDM material. I do think it's an interesting mainstream release in the aspect of how it's basically a broken up DJ mix. One last notable thing on this release would be all the samples of the
"Damn, son, where'd you find this?"
voice, basically acting as a tour guide, guiding the listener through the entirety of the album. These samples are present starting on the first track, introducing the album and setting the scene, all the way to the end of the album, stating thank yous to all the other artists featured on the album, as well as a special thank you message to the listener. All in all, this album didn't impress me at all, but it's very well produced and has that unique Skrillex flow to it. It is definitely worth a listen, but for me, the one was enough. Except for this track. I would love to hear what other people thought about this release. I might have a close-minded opinion considering the only content I've thoroughly enjoyed from Skrillex is all the old nostalgic bro step and electro house stuff. If anyone is watching this, let me know what you thought about it. Okay, thanks, bye.